Central Park studio here with on the TV show Williams, who is the founder and CEO of Keiretsu Form and
bleach blonde guy.
The bleach blonde guy. That is. Welcome, you're listening to the Best of Investing on News Talk 910, always relevant and sometimes irreverent. We here present the valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day for those of you listening for the first time. Imagine a few guys sitting around a bar having drinks without the drinks, darn it, talking business with you, the audience, listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm honored to have as my co-host Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, California's premier private lender. You're also a lender, aren't you?
Yeah, easier for you to say.
Yeah, it is. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Write that number down, 888-912-1190, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. The vacations are sponsored by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, which is located 1 hour northeast of San Francisco, and the vacations are free. Their only request is a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. That's a deal. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. You can reach them at 916-777-5511. Today's trivia theme is the old Addams Family. Remember that?
Of course, okay. I saw all those.
I was more of a Munsters fan, but that's okay. And our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube by typing Best of Investing Radio Show. And don't forget, World Wraps in Corte Madera and Santa Clara is still giving our listeners a free smoothie with purchase of a wrapper bowl if you mention the Best of Investing. Go there for lunch today. Best wraps in town. And don't forget to mention the Best of Investing for your free smoothie. And today's special guest is Robert Schiff, who is a mortgage broker and has been since 1994. Prior to becoming a mortgage broker, Robert was a real estate agent, and he has over 30 years of experience buying, remodeling, and selling houses. And before we actually get into saying hello to you, I wanted to come up with this interesting fact here that the cruise ship disaster that just happened, how much do you think it's going to cost the cruise industry? Take a guess.
Oh, in terms of notoriety, huh?
Yeah, I mean, with the pictures that everyone's seen of the ship, like half.
That is a great picture.
Isn't that a great picture? I would suggest that they put that on their brochures.
I don't think they
so.
Accept that.
They wouldn't accept that. Okay,
no.
Take a guess as to how much you think it's going to cost. Though.
I would guess
probably the millions.
Hundreds of millions.
Exactly.
Really?
Do you remember a few years ago with Tiger Woods and the old infidelity thing?
Mm-hmm.
They figured that cost golf $1 billion.
You don't
Wow.
say.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Wow.
I wonder if someone's going to sue Tiger on that, but I guess you can't kind of do that sort of thing. So
he wasn't on that cruise, now was he?
No, yeah, not that I know of. Okay, Robert Schiff. We've got a lot of great questions for you, and I think Mark.
Great real estate.
Actually, I've got the first one here.
You do.
Okay, how can I determine if I am eligible to refinance my house? With my house being worth less than it was several years ago.
That is.
So that's a really good question, and it really is pertinent to so many people. Basically, anybody that either bought their house, I'd say, in the last 5 years, or refinanced it within the last 5 years and got a large chunk of their equity out, is now facing, even in the Bay Area, probably being, it's called upside down, where they possibly owe more than the current value of the house. And conventional lending hasn't allowed borrowers to get those loans, but there are some government programs that there's been a lot of hoopla about that would allow a bunch of those people to refinance and potentially lower their payments so they would be more likely to stay in the house.
Okay, well, you kind of jumped ahead on one of those questions, but that's okay.
Well, that's actually we keep seeing those in the newspapers almost on a regular basis. They keep talking about these proposed government programs. Is there anything actually been approved that's going to be enacted that might help people that are underwater?
Well, the programs that are coming online now are the second generation, so there's already been one generation of programs available.
Did it actually work though? I didn't
Yeah,
actually
I
hear
heard
that
all these
anybody.
people-
Compared to the projections,
Yeah.
they made it sound like it was going to take care of millions of people.
Right.
And the fine lines, when you got down to it, there were little stipulations and footnotes that said, well, you had to have not gotten a loan after a certain date in 2009, or mean, I've unofficially helped people try to get through these programs, and the lenders don't seem to really want to help people in the programs. That's been my experience.
Did they not get anything out of it?
People in the industry are talking, and they can't figure out why. For instance, I have a client of mine who I'm just trying to help, and they own a house in Fairfield. They owe $300,000 on it.
Okay.
The house is worth about $175,000.
Okay, so they're upside down.
They're upside
Quite a lot,
down, and
significantly.
they've stopped their payments. And I'm trying to work with them, with the bank, to modify. And I'm telling the bank, these people don't want to leave the house. They're willing to
Exactly.
pay. Why don't you lower the interest rate from 6% to something more reasonable, like it is now, 4%, and maybe lower the loan to $250,000? Then you'll have a performing loan that's more than the value of the house. And if you don't, the people will stop paying. You'll foreclose on them at a great expense to yourself. You'll have to list it for sale. At that time,
Yeah, but Robert, you're talking logic.
Yeah,
they're
that-
talking
that makes
logic to a
perfect
bank.
sense.
but it's bankers, and there must be some way that we're not aware of, that when they foreclose, they get reimbursed by some part of the federal government.
They must, because I remember back in 2008 when this whole thing was starting to unfold, we had people who were, maybe they were immigrants, they were legal immigrants, and they'd have maybe two families who owned the house together, and they wanted to stay in the house. But when interest rates had gone up, it made it cost prohibitive. And even though they were upside down, they said, listen, we still want to pay our mortgage payment, but we just can't pay what the new payment is. I mean, it gets kind of ridiculous.
Well, and this has been the
thinking.
problem, all for the last couple of years, is that the complaints that the Obama administration has put forth these loan modification programs and supposedly provided incentives to banks to work with borrowers, but anecdotally, and Robert, here's just another example. I'm just not hearing a lot of success, and it's amazing because your example makes perfect sense. If they take that property back, they're not even going to get the 175 that it's
That's
worth,
right.
because after the holding costs and the legal and et cetera, they'll be lucky to put $100,000 in their pocket.
Well, especially when people find out it's bank owned.
Sure.
Automatically they'll reduce it. So what did you get successful on that, or is that still being work in progress?
It's still a work in progress.
Yeah, well, it takes a long time to go
I've
through the
been
channels.
successful with one client, and unfortunately, after the modification program went through and they were starting, he died. So that's been my record. It
That
hasn't
was a little
happened.
inconvenient. I wonder if that was
Yes.
the cause of it. It could be in many cases.
So Robert, we've got these super low interest rates, and how is refi activity? Is it? I know it was quite busy a year ago. I know a number of agents like yourself in the market who were doing gangbusters there for a while. I mean, how's the activity now that we're going into 2012?
Well, right now the rates are maybe not this minute, but within the past week or so, they're lower than they've ever been.
Right, they're in the threes now. Is that correct?
They're in the threes. It's even there's some 10-year loans that are under 3%.
Yeah,
Some
we hear
government
those.
programs.
Hear those
Wow.
radio ads.
And they're real loans.
Are any points on that?
No, everything
Wow.
that they quote pretty much is without points.
Is there much volume on that, though? I guess that was my question. Is that are there many people who are qualifying for those? Especially, if you've got a
That's a good question.
significant percentage of the population that's underwater, and then you've got the other issue. Do I qualify? Do you have a high FICO score? Can you
Well, what's the
verify your
LTV?
income? What's the
Right?
loan to value? I mean,
Yeah.
how much of that activity is actually happening?
The loan procedure is very medical now. They really look at everything.
Wait, no more
every piece of
115% loan to value loans?
No,
No.
someone called me the other day and said, I'd like to refinance, and I said, what's your job? He said, I'm unemployed, and I asked if he still had a TV and watched the news at all, because, I mean, it's amazing to me.
There's
that
no more
some
stated
people don't
income
get-
loans, as I
There
understand. Is that
actually are a few that are stated. Someone
really?
just told me a local bank in Marin is doing seconds that are stated income, but
On a second?
on a second.
What are the rates?
mortgage, just prime plus 1 or 2. So
Whoa, what kind of LTV?
they'll go up to 75%. So,
Yeah, but it doesn't
there
matter
may
how big
be-
the
There
first
may
is?
be catches once you get into it, that you have to deposit a large, become a client of the bank for all your other resources. I'm not sure of the particulars.
Yeah, if you need a $100,000 loan, you have to deposit $125,000 in a CD.
Yes, I don't think it's that bad.
No, it's not that
But-
bad. I'm
But
just
generally, no, that the stipulations for getting a loan are much harder than they've been. It's a reaction to the just fog the mirror and get a loan that we all went through, and
Sure.
it's sort
That's what
of
we used
where
to
we
say,
are
fog the
now.
mirror.
But, as someone said to me a couple months ago, if you look back in the 60s and the 70s, especially the 60s, your choice was to go to a bank and get a 30-year fixed loan, and it was 2 points plus $250, and you had to show your taxes and qualify. And so that's the way it had been for decades, and we tend to forget that that was the basis of real estate
but
financing.
then people got, I don't want to say smart, but I guess opportunistic, and said, well, if I can package a whole bunch of these loans together and sell them on the secondary market and blah, 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 blah. Okay, we are going to go to our first commercial break, and remember the theme is the old TV show, The Addams Family. What is the name of the hand that helps everyone around the house? Remember, the theme is The Addams Family. The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Check them out. The weather's going to start getting good here in a couple of months. You're going to want to visit them. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. What is the name of the hand that helps everyone around the house on The Addams Family? 888-912-1190. Make sure you include your name, address, email address, and phone number, and speak slowly and spell it out, please, when you call. And we will be right back. Here's segment number 1.
Was that
Yeah.
Addams Family or
Yes.
the Munsters?
No,
That
Addams
was
Family.
Adams.
I like that. Do that. Do that.
How do
I like
you,
that. First time I ask the question.
How do
and
you decide the questions and find the answers?
He's just has to get creative.
Secret. the next
The secret sauce.
The next trivia question is going to be. Next trivia question is going to. Oh yeah, headsets off. Yeah, because this is. It's,
All right.
next trivia question is going to be, what's my favorite color? Green. I mean blue.
Are you finding people are choosing different amortizations?
No, I mean everybody at our office really sees the incredible benefits of doing a 15-year loan. The savings are phenomenal. But
they sure are.
when it comes down to it, a lot of people don't want to commit to that extra, $500, $700, $900 a month. If you're in a situation where that's meaningless differential to you, that's great to do. But
Guys I hear all the time say, don't pay off your home mortgage or keep a home mortgage, or don't refinance for the purpose of paying it off early if you have other opportunities to make more money. So it's an interesting exercise
and you see both sides of it. I've had people, go into a 15-year and then several years down said, "Gee, I'm losing my tax benefits here."
Well, that's just it.
And you're either going to have the goal is to either have your house on free and clear, and you don't get the tax deduction. However long into the future we still have that, which I think will be a long.
Makeup, please. Thank you. Now, the thing is, when you did that, though, the camera saw you, not me. You had to come to the side. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Makeup, please.
Makeup, please.
Kiss and makeup.
Kiss and makeup. There you go. That's it. Okay. A comedy show, I tell you. Everybody's a comedian. I get no respect.
All right.
Okay. Okay, so you remember your Munsters
Yes.
or Lurch thing. Okay, all right, good show so far. We'll continue on with the questions when we get back after. Wait, do you, I loved you, hold on. You bubble-headed booby. From Lost
You
in
bubble-headed booby.
From Lost in Space, remember that? See, we're the same age, so we grew up with the same commercial.
Dr. Smith.
Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with my co-host, Mark Hahn of Pacific Private Money. When we cut to the first commercial break, we asked this first trivia question. And remember, the theme is the old TV show, The Addams Family. What was the name of the hand that helps everyone around the house? Mark.
Well, of course I remember Lurch.
That's very good.
That'd be the thing.
That thing, that is correct.
And, my goodness.
My
Damn.
goodness. We are in the studio with Robert Schiff, who is a mortgage broker. And there is another question. I think I'll ask this one. How much do you have to have for a down payment nowadays?
Well, as you do still have to have something for a down payment. There's no longer 100% financing, but
Darn.
FHA program, you can get a loan with as little as 3.5% down payment.
That's still pretty close
That's
to
still
nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So is that still pretty common right now? How common are these FHA loans?
Well, they're not as common as they should be because I'm not sure, some of the realtors and some of the clients have an idea from the past that when you got an FHA loan, everything in the house had to be fixed, everything had to be perfect, and there were a lot of impediments to getting the loan, which is not true at all now.
Really?
So how come people aren't just jumping off the shelf?
Well, they're slowly starting to realize it. I'm involved in a purchase deal right now, and the clients are getting a 4% credit from the seller, which is going to pay all their closing costs, all the FHA, all the mortgage insurance costs, basically they are putting 3.5% down and getting a loan that's slightly better than a conventional 30-year fix.
Wait a minute, isn't that, are they effectively getting no money down then?
They're putting 3.5% down.
Yeah, but then if they're getting a 4% credit,
With the mortgage insurance costs and the closing costs where they have to start an impound account for their taxes and insurance and pay 1 month's mortgage payment and pay all the closing costs, that amounts to about 3.5%, and the extra is going towards part of their first payment.
So let's talk about qualification then for an FHA loan. So there's still opportunities to buy with little down, which is great news for people who may have thought, now you have to have 20% down, which in the Bay Area is an awful lot of money, even in the lower price neighborhoods. So what are some of the qualifications? So, like, for example, if I have a foreclosure on my record, how long do I have to go after that before I would qualify for an FHA loan?
That's a really great question. If you have a foreclosure, or if you had a property that was deeded back to the bank, or even a short sale has an adverse effect on your credit report. And